In the name of God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. About halfway through the first week of the spiritual exercises, St. Ignatius encourages us to pray for the grace of gratitude, and, if necessary, even to beg for it. It seems to me that he felt that to go further into the exercises without a heart overflowing with gratitude would in fact be a dangerous thing to do. For without a grateful soul, the graces to be received could be used for purposes other than which they were created. In fact, St. Ignatius believed that ingratitude was the cause, the beginning, and the origin of all evils and sins. So during the first week of my 30-day retreat, I made a list of all the things that I had to be grateful for, and it was an extraordinarily long list. But it turns out that thinking about gratitude is not the same as actually feeling grateful. During my stay, 2 large round bales of hay had been delivered to the farm run by the retreat centre. There was a herd of cows on the other side of the fence outside the yard who were drawn by the smell of the fresh hay. So I actually pulled some hay off the bale and offered it over the fence to the cows. Now, it has to be said that this made me very popular with the cows, and every time that I walked over to the farm after that, they would come running to see if I had anything to feed them. Now, I'd been given Psalm 104, the psalm that we have heard read today, to contemplate while I prayed for the grace of a grateful heart. The psalm read, "All creatures look to you to give them their food in proper time. When you give it to them, they gather it up. When you open your hand, they are satisfied with good things." What I noticed from the other side of the fence is how the cows were actually begging for the hay, how much they desired the hay. And I remembered some words of Martin Luther. "If only I could desire God as much as my dog desires the morsel from my table." And I remember thinking, if only I could desire a grateful heart as much as those cows on the other side of that fence desired to get at the fresh hay. And so I imagined, had I let the cows in, how they would have danced around the bales, tearing it off and throwing it in the air with glee. And then I imagined myself doing the very same thing, all the time singing one of my favourite songs, which happens to be based on Psalm 104. 10,000 reasons for my heart to sing, 10,000 reasons to be grateful. Bless the Lord, O my soul. So I sang that song for 2 days, dancing around the church and dancing around the vineyard and dancing around the farm, crying tears of gratitude. I thought perhaps a bit how people viewed King David when he danced around the ark and thought he had gone mad. But my prayer had been answered. My heart had been filled with overflowing gratitude and moved me even to tears. It was then and only then that it was safe for me to move on and to ask for and to receive even more graces. Bernard of Clairvaux says, ingratitude is the soul's enemy. Ingratitude is a burning wind that dries up the source of love, the dew of mercy, the streams of grace. Today we join with people of many faiths throughout the world calling for climate justice. The scarf I am wearing as a stole is a graphic depiction of how the planet is warming, how it has gone from coolness to heat, and a clarion call to act decisively to reverse the devastation. I, of all people, know how tempting it is to rush into protest mode, to yell at politicians and to judge those who profit from this devastation. And I know there is a proper time and a proper place for all of those things. However, I think I have learnt, and on my better days try to remember, the truth of Ignatius's words, that ingratitude is the cause, the beginning, and the origin of all evils and sins. So the place for us to start, always the place to start, is to ask and even to beg for the grace of gratitude, for a heart filled with gratefulness, even to tears if that grace is also given. A heart filled with gratitude for the beauty, the abundance, the complexity, the robust fragility, the sheer gift of the physical universe. For it is a heart filled with gratitude that can then proceed with safety to receive the many, many gifts that God has to offer us through God's creation. Seneca the Younger said, "Greed's worst point is its ingratitude." The devastation of the earth is the result of greed and ingratitude. For without the grace of gratitude, we live in a mindset of scarcity. Without a grateful heart, it seems like we are always empty. It seems like there is never enough, and we never feel that we are filled. And this feeling always leads us to desire more. It always leads us to greed. In the first principle and foundation of the exercises, St. Ignatius writes, "All the things in this world are gifts of God, presented to us so that we might know God more easily and make a return of love more readily. As a result, we appreciate and we use all these gifts of God insofar as they help us to develop as loving persons. But," he writes, "if any of these gifts become the centre of our lives, they displace God and so hinder our growth towards our goal." It is the grace of gratitude that it enables us to engage with the abundance of creation in a way that enhances the life of the entire creation and doesn't diminish it, doesn't commodify it, doesn't steal from it, doesn't devastate it, but enhances the life of the entire creation, of which we are a part, and therefore enhances our own lives as well. As the 14th century mystic Meister Eckhart says, if thank you is the only prayer we ever say, it is enough. The Lord be with you.